I'm scared. I'm scared to relive the trauma.
Oh, but the trauma was fun for us to watch.
It was fun for us to watch.
Oh,
It was really good.
I have to kind of be quiet. I realize there's a baby sleeping outside this door. So, like, I got to NPR this.
Oh, no. Nene and I will make up for it. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
Oh,
We'll
no.
scream.
You guys, you two can be loud. Hold on. Let me do the intro.
Oh, yeah. Those things.
Hello and welcome to the ParkStop podcast, episode 69.
I feel like if I say, hey, kids, real loud, it's weird. So.
It got me being loud. Today we're going to be talking about Halloween Horror Nights 33
I mean,
at Universal Orlando Resort. Joining me today, as always, Ian.
hey, kids.
But also joining us today is Nene.
Hi.
I'll try to talk at a moderately normal volume, but I'm
Don't wake the kid.
Don't make me laugh too hard. If that's
You're
possible.
so screwed. You're so screwed.
So we did Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Orlando. So let's just start off. We did the private RIP tour for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It was all of our first time doing the private one. Ian and Jen and I have done the non-private the last few years, but enough people showed interest, and friends of ours that we all collectively pooled together to do the private, and it was kind of a treat. So now I'm like we were already
We went from spoiled to hyper spoiled, basically.
right. We went from spoiled to hyper spoiled, because now, like, I can't imagine, because you get to do the private one all night. You don't get dropped
Yep.
off. We don't get dumped at the end of the night. And
No,
we're
we don't
stuck
get
on our
dumped
own.
at like 11 o'clock. We just keep going.
I felt bad for our tour guide because we put him through the ringer. We're like, now we're gonna walk all the way back over here and do this again.
That dude was having a blast. I don't know what you're talking about. Josh was awesome.
Josh, his name tag said Josh SP.
Yep.
From Cleveland, Ohio. Josh, you were amazing.
Cleveland. Sorry.
Thank you so much. Like, our Nightmare Fuel had a technical interruption, and we had to like leave in the middle of the show, and he worked it in that we could go back and see the show again. That was really cool.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we did 18 houses total at a
Something
10
like
house
that.
event.
Something like that. We did almost every house more than once. And
Almost
some
every
of them
house.
three or four times for some of them, I think.
Did we do any 4 times, or was it just 3 for major suites?
Three times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did Insidious 3 times too, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Why?
So
It's PTSD from Insidious.
okay, I was going to ask, you know what? I'm not going to start with a question. I just want, could we explain to the audience what happened with Nene and Cass?
Okay. So my friend Cass came. Alicia knows Cass. Nene met Cass. Cass is like a little sister to me, and she brought her brother. And I knew that Nene and Cass were going to hit it off. And immediately, the week before she got here, she was like, we're going to be Thunder Buddies. And they kind of were Thunder Buddies all night long. Nene, how did that go for you?
Okay. Obviously, it was wonderful. Here's my situation with HHN. It's like a very much a love-hate relationship. I always tell everyone, I love HHN, and I'm actually very, very scared in all the mazes, but my fear of missing out is far greater than my fear of these monsters. So I will always participate in every HHN activity, but I am going through it, to say the least. Jump scares are just not my thing. I'm not really like scared of like the masks and the gore or whatever. It's just really the jumps that get me. I can't do it.
But not only that, the anticipation of being jump scared.
Yes, the
So you're
anticipation.
just scared the whole time, but also appreciating the art of the houses.
So
love that, yeah.
The two of them going through the houses together, we literally started taking turns walking behind them to be entertained by the scares and laughter. I swear there was one time you guys had a scare from each side, and I thought you were going to hit the floor because you just both ducked so low.
I'm usually at the end of the conga line. I'm usually the caboose because I just want to take in the scenery or whatever. And I'm hearing commotion, 9 people ahead of me, and laughter, but I'm not actually seeing what everyone's laughing at for the first couple houses. So I was like, hey, I'm making my way up here. It's my turn. So the third house, I'm like, oh, okay. No, I can't pay attention to the houses. This is too entertaining.
I did see Cass try to shove Nene in front of her, and he said something along the lines of "Know your place." Shoved her back in front of him. I can't say the full phrase because we can't curse. But sorry, go ahead.
It was a good time. This year, so like Alicia was saying, it's the anticipation that really, really, really like gets me. And I feel like this year there was a lot of moments in a lot of the mazes where I was like, oh, this is crazy. The sensory deprivation tunnel inside A Quiet Place.
Oh, I know. That's my best scare, I think. That was
insane. Like, I've never had a moment in an HHN maze. I've been going to HHN for ages, right? And I've been doing Orlando and Hollywood together for many, many years now. And I haven't had a scare like that ever. I was gagged. I was very gagged, and I was not okay.
That's not only is it my favorite scare, but we did that when we did it the first time, it stayed pitch black dark. And then when we did it a second time, a light came on and there was an alien head on the side. So I'm thinking, because the first time it was just a pitch black dark hallway. I'm thinking, oh, it's just a dark hallway. When the light came on, I was like, no, there's a scare in here. So I got scared twice by that hallway.
Listen. Yeah, in 2 different ways.
Yeah, in 2 different ways.
The way you survive HHN is you just be suspicious of everything. If there's a dark hallway, there's definitely going to be a scare. You might not see it, but it's definitely in there. Just be suspicious of everything.
So we have no format here. I don't have notes or anything. We're just gonna kind of chat. But what was everyone's favorite house? And I'm not saying don't say you're like what you think is the best house, but what did you enjoy the most this year? Which, it's limited to for me, it's just limited to the one night. Ian, I think you've been twice.
Yeah.
So, your experience may differ.
I can't pick.
I can. I feel like, obviously going into it, I was extremely excited for Slaughter Cinema 2. And I think that I was really excited because of the drive-in theater vibes, because I'm very much obsessed with that. But I was surprised that at the end of the night, that was still my favorite maze, just because I truly feel like it packed the biggest punch. I feel like every single room was a different scene. It was a completely different theme because it was correlated to a different movie. And I feel like it was like 9 mazes in one maze.
I was expecting like 3 or 4 movies. I didn't realize it was like 12. Like it was 9.
It was a lot of movies.
9.
It was a lot.
But no one movie had enough time to breathe. So like it didn't make it very high up my, hypothetical
but mummy strippers.
List. Forget that. It had a giant shark head. Oh, by the way,
shark head was awesome.
There will be spoilers for this.
Oh, yes.
Obviously.
Yeah, nothing. The giant head in Monstrous was the thing that was the funniest to watch Cass and Nene with, because the thing was there and they're scared of it and it started moving and they ran.
That head was darting at a speed that it should not be able to reach.
But they ran. It was like they're watching it. It starts jumping at them and they ran.
Joel, who was with us, he has a list of his top 5 scares that reminded me. Number 1 was big head thrust in Monstrous. Number 2, the Insidious simultaneous curtain scare.
Oh,
Number 3 is the finale angled scare in Major Suites. Number 4 was Insidious lantern misdirect.
Yeah.
And number 5 was the swinging she-wolf in Universal Monsters.
That was a pretty good one.
These are good. I said you're wrong because number 1 is the dark hallway from Quiet Place, which got me twice in 2 different ways.
So the thing for me this year is that I can argue any house basically is the best house for me, because almost any house. I think Monstrous is fun and there's lots of good moments in it, but I think it's probably on the lower levels for me. But almost any of the houses that we did, I can argue as being the best house because they're very different.
Well, okay, for this, thinking about this one night, what was like your favorite run of the night?
I think I'm going to say A Quiet Place in general because of watching Cass, because it's her favorite movie. Not just seeing her get scared, but watching her. And also, it was cool because Josh told us that the monsters were like exactly molded from the movie props, which was really cool.
The same as the Hollywood movie, yeah.
So I think just seeing her, like, this was her first HHN, and watching her go through like a house based on a movie she likes so much, I think that was the most fun for me that night.
Yeah, I want to say A Quiet Place because like I appreciate that house. Not only did it give me good scares, which like nothing actually scares me usually,
Hmm.
but it's like impressive. Like I know some of us were saying like when it shows the whole body alien, it's not that scary, but it's still really
No,
impressive. Those things are
it
tall,
is.
and then when the heads dart through, they can really get you. So
Or just a limb. One of
the
the
one in the
things.
corn silo really jumped out.
Yeah.
So I was really impressed by A Quiet Place, but the more I like after sleeping on it, I'm like, I think Major Sweet's Candy Factory is my favorite.
I'm not surprised there's rats in it. Of course it's your favorite. And I would like to make a note that our third time through, Alicia noticed the rat right as you entered and decided to stop and pet it. So
Well, no, I've noticed the rat all the times. I just realized this is my last chance. I'm going to pet the
pet
rat.
it. Major Sweets was fun. It
was
wasn't very
fun.
scary to me at all, but I laughed all the way through it. It was
I
super
liked
fun.
the characters reoccur. Like the receptionist woman
Yeah.
at the beginning shows up 3 times. Of course, Major Sweet shows up a couple times, maybe 3 times. The rat shows up 3 times because the rat is
Yeah.
there at the beginning. Then he's on screen. He eats candy, gets all big and giant.
Hmm.
So he mutates. So like everyone shows up 3 times and there's interactive stuff. It was fun.
Yeah, the touch points. That was crazy.
Yeah, it was super fun, the interactive stuff.
I think it's hard for me to say it was my favorite because it's the Fast and Furious house. And
I know.
they finally figured out
I
how to
know.
use the space. They used the space really well.
Yeah,
it
it was
didn't
really-
feel like it was a Fast and Furious house.
It was really well done, for sure. I think Insidious was just really well done. There's so many scare actors in there. The scare actors were great. The Ghostbusters has some awesome sets, and I almost got hit in the face with an axe, apparently.
Well, okay, maybe also because I saw I've never seen the Quiet Place movies until the day before that we went. I
Yeah.
watched the first movie. I still haven't seen the other 2. And I
Mhm.
think being fresh in my mind also helped me to appreciate it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas I have not seen all of the Insidiouses, the Insidii. I've not seen all of them. I think I saw the first one when it first came out, and I really don't remember it at all. And then I watched the new one, which had flashbacks. So I'm like, oh, it's got flashbacks to the other movies. I'm set. And then all these characters and monsters are jumping out, and I'm like, I have no recollection of any of these characters.
You should watch the second one anyway. It's actually really good.
I did like the new one and the way it like
I like the new one, too.
recontextualized the earlier ones. That's fine. It was fine, but
I like the new
Quiet
one.
Place was good.
Oh man, it's so hard.
Was-
Goblins was super fun. The D&D house was super fun.
Ah,
Don't even get me started on
I
the
was
Goblin's house.
I was like so I
Human
was
Chop
so
House.
I was so disappointed by goblins. I'm not gonna lie. I feel
I
like I
think
was
it's
No,
so.
you're not saying it
fun.
was bad. You just didn't vibe with it because I thought it was going to be my
No.
favorite. I
I
was
thought it
like
was gonna be my
thinking Wicked
favorite.
Growth.
Same. I loved Wicked Growth, and I
Yeah, Wicked
Right.
love
Growth
the
is
theme
awesome.
of this. It was just it fell flat, and it was really short. It was like
It's
I
really
don't-
short.
I don't think it was that. I think
No?
Ghostbusters are short. I don't think Goblin's Feast was too short. I think it. Goblin's Feast is weird because it's very narrative driven. And I like that our tour guide explained that it's like the different levels. You start at the lower level, like the surf level of goblins, and you move up to the aristocrats at the very top of the like
Mhm.
chain of
Yeah.
wealth and stuff. It's very
Yeah,
now
that
that I
last-
know that, it makes a lot of sense. Yes, the last one. Hold on,
last
I'll
one.
get to that guy in a second. Hold on. But like when you first enter, it's so fun and like real. It feels like a fleshed out village almost, and
It
everyone's
does.
like, "Good goblins feast to you." Ooh, good goblins feast to you. Like everyone's in a jolly mood because they know we're gonna be eaten at the end.
Yeah.
It took the second run before I even realized there was a giant 25-foot statue of a goblin before the castle at the end with the giant
Mhm.
goblin. I had
Mhm.
no idea that thing's just hiding in there. But it for some reason it didn't. I wasn't vibing with it. But then at the end,
The guy.
you have to like turn around to even see him. I hear him. He's dressed super fancy. And
It's so good.
I couldn't understand what he was saying the first time. I was too busy laughing my ass off. But the second time he's like, "Egad, the food is escaping. The food is escaping." Ah! It was. Oh my god! I'm trying to keep my voice down, but seriously,
It's so good. It's
I
just
laughed.
silly.
I think everyone in our group thought I was losing my mind.
Oh,
I was
no.
laughing so hard.
I definitely didn't because it's funny. That guy's great. One of them saw me. I caught one of the scare actors in their little cutout, and he was looking at me and started doing the beard motion like he was thinking like I do all the time at me, and I was like, "That's awesome. Thank you for that."
I love
sir."
that.
I liked the older goblin with the whisker mustache.
Oh yeah.
It was like, okay, it's like Ren Fair meets like
It's
D&D
D&D.
characters,
It's
sure,
D&D.
but it feels like you're
Yeah.
entering a real world to the
I
point
know.
where it's not scary. But I did like the Dueling Dragons house last year. Was it
Mhm.
last year? Wasn't scary, but also I didn't care that much about the world, surprisingly. This one I liked. I liked this world. I liked the design of everything. It just wasn't a scary haunted house.
No, it's not scary at all.
It was
Yeah,
so
the
fun
facade
though.
was beautiful. I love the facade. Didn't they have a giant like wheel inside as well? Was
Think
that Goblin's
so.
Feast?
I think so.
I
Yeah,
thought
it was
they
like
did.
I think it was part of the village, like when you
Yeah,
enter
the
one
village
of the rooms.
was for such a small space was so well fleshed out enough that it convinced me I was in a like walking around a village. Monstrous did that too.
Yeah,
Like it had a
Monstrous.
really good like set design. We only did that one once, and it was earlier in the night, so I don't remember too much about it. It was overshadowed by everything else.
I remember
but
the giant half owl, half human animatronic thing.
yes.
Oh my gosh, that was crazy.
I did like that.
That was good.
Yeah, there was some stuff in there I liked. The museum.
The museum's probably one of the lower houses for me.
I did
Yeah,
not-
definitely.
It's hard for me to get scared of a museum when it's so modern. Like it looks like a museum that just opened this year. Like it
I
has
know.
modern like little plates and modern like descriptions and things. It was like too good of a set design that I was like, this is just like a museum that just opened this year.
The wallpaper people were kind of fun, though.
The masks talking were kind of creepy.
Yeah, that was creepy too, for sure.
There was some creepy stuff, but all in all, not my favorite run of the night. Triplets of Terror, I think we went in thinking maybe it wasn't that great. And
Yeah.
It-
I
It
liked
wasn't.
it. No,
I liked
You
it.
liked it?
I really liked it. It's my number 4.
Oh my God.
I liked
Wait.
it a lot
I
too.
know.
It reminded me of like 80s bad B movie
Yes.
kind of horror.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I liked it.
Yes.
I guess. Maybe
you mean
we
you
should have done it a
guess?
second time. Because I went in knowing like I wasn't going to like it and then I didn't like it. So maybe it was like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
You can kind of tell that it was last minute kind of thought out. At least it feels like it, but I still liked it. I thought it was fun. I liked it better than Museum, and I liked it maybe slightly better than Monstrous.
You know, now that you mention, I think I did like it better than Museum, but I think I like Monstrous better than all two of those.
It was
But you know what
gory.
surprised me? You know what surprised me?
Huh.
Universal Monsters, Eternal Bloodlines.
Yeah, that surprised me too. I was a little nervous about that, but I actually enjoyed that house.
I think I'm kind of over the voiceover thing because I think they did that in was it the last Monsters one?
Don't they do it? Haven't they done it in all the monster houses?
Not the first one. The first one was just here's all the monsters, and I kind of enjoy that more.
Oh yeah. You're right.
when it's a narrative and it's like you're telling me too much exposition. Listen, lady, I just want to get to the next scare. I don't need this little vignette in between each scene.
I kind of thought they were going to do like something tied to Epic and have Frankenstein Frankenstein in there. The new Frankenstein. That's what I thought they were going to do.
Maybe they'll do it next year, but this is almost like along the same lines.
Yeah, kind of.
It's like here's a female relative of a famous Universal Monsters character.
Yeah, and Bride was helping her, which was kind of weird, but kind of cool.
But just like the other Monsters houses, the last 3 times, the set design is amazing, and the scares were good. I think that's why I liked it so much. That I'm all about the set design.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't Josh say this was like all female led and
Yeah.
it's all female characters and stuff like that in that house
And
too?
produced.
Yeah, and
produced,
And you know what it didn't have? A bunch of curtains I have to keep opening and closing as
Yeah,
I
it
walk
didn't.
through. That's why Insidious started to really get on my nerves. I'm like, Insidious is, in other words, 30 different curtains I have to touch.
It also goes on forever. It
Right.
feels pretty long when you walk through it.
People are like, it's so long. It's like you're getting your most bang for your buck. And I'm sitting here going, oh, my arm is sore from lifting all of these curtains. But Eternal Bloodlines, all of the curtains are already parted for you. See, it's a woman's touch. It's well thought out.
The draperies are separated so you can get some light in or something.
It really opens up the space, you know?
It really ties the place together. Oh man. So what else was there?
Ghostbusters.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong, or is the further not feel furthery enough?
It feels pretty furthery
I feel
enough.
like the lighting wasn't dramatic enough for me to feel like I'm in the further. It just felt like there was some esoteric, here's a black void with a floating person or whatever. Or,
Yeah.
or
It should be
further.
it should be almost
Further.
well, it should be almost pitch black because of you have to use a lantern to get around in it. But
Yeah,
like,
it's true. There you go.
you can't really do that for an entire house, or we'd all be crying by the
There
time we got
was
to
some
the end.
moments like that. I have no idea what it was, but it was like a jail cell with someone watching TV. What I don't know what
Yeah,
that was.
I don't
That was
remember
really
that.
dark and creepy. So like they did have some low light moments. So
Bride scares in that house are great.
yeah,
They're
they
really
were.
good.
The
It just
mannequin
was so
rooms.
long.
The mannequin rooms are crazy.
Because I
Mannequin
asked
rooms.
Josh, like, why do people like this house so much? What is so scary? Why did everyone keep saying it's the scariest? And he's like, probably the mannequin rooms. I'm like, oh yeah, no, you're right.
And the
That
curtains.
checks out.
Last year, Monsters had a curtain hallway for Phantom, but nothing ever jumped out. We did it more than once.
hmm
This year, Insidious had the curtain hallway thing that were really tight turns and everything, and there's things jumping out at you all over the place in there. So
No, that actually scared me. The mannequin thing don't really do nothing for me.
no, you can kind of see that there's only usually like one or two people in those rooms, so
They
you can
did
kind
have
of
two,
figure it
like
out.
in the big one, like
Yeah,
to their
it's always
credit.
like one or two people.
Yeah, so Ghostbusters.
I thought Ghostbusters sets were really fun.
Very
They,
fun.
they captured the spirit of the new movie, but I feel like I just watched the new movie the week before,
hmm
finally. And there's a really scary scene when the power goes out,
hmm
and they like that laboratory sea aquarium room could have been scarier, and we kind of just rushed through it, and there's just random scares in the windows. And I
Yeah,
don't know, like they spent so much time with the little, I want to call them Snowgies from the
Yeah.
Frozen short because it's marketed the same way. But the little Stay Puft Marshmallow things don't
Yeah.
do anything for me. They were cute in the first scene, but like having the guy run around with a jacket full of them or whatever isn't.
Yeah.
It's kind of wasting the scariest environment.
yeah, but we got Vigo in that room.
Which I didn't see the first time. You had to point him out the second time, and it was cool to see giant-headed Vigo.
Every time we go through, I would always yell, "It's Vigo!"
But like,
it's great.
yeah, I think it was a missed opportunity.
I gotta say though, that frozen room is one of my favorite spaces we walked through. That
I
very
didn't even know
first
there was
room.
a scare in there until like we were leaving the room the second time. I was
There's
like, oh, there's a scare at
two.
the entrance to this.
There's
Well,
actually
there's the fireman, but I didn't know there was a whatever his name is.
Yeah, the
Garaka.
Baracus or
There's
or
no.
whatever.
I didn't realize there was a Garaka scare.
Yeah, there's three in there technically because when you first open the curtains, that guy's standing right there and like kind of leans at you.
And they
Talks
really
to you.
captured that set design and the frozen people and then the disembodied hand circling
on
on the
the record.
gramophone, just like it was out of the movie.
Yeah, I really like that room a lot. It was one of my favorite spaces to walk through.
I will say that, Orlando's version of Ghostbusters was way better. I loved it a lot more compared to Hollywood's. However, Hollywood's is pumping marshmallow smell throughout the whole thing.
Oh, we
And
missed
that
out.
was one thing where I was like, I wish it smelled like marshmallows in here.
I keep thinking it feels short, but maybe that's because I want it to be longer. Whereas Insidious, I thought felt long, but that's maybe because I want it to be over. And I like forget that the projection mapped firehouse was done really well.
Yeah,
And there was a good
yes.
Garaka scare in there. We did not get the final
I
Garaka
know.
in both of our runs.
Yeah.
I
he
got
was-
it in my solo run. I kept
did?
looking for him at the end. Yeah,
Yeah, because the end, they're all like the fire master and the Ghostbusters are all shooting at a void, and there was no
Nothing.
bad
Yeah.
guy.
yeah.
And that's like him with his horns. We never got to see him with his horns because all the jump scares earlier are hornless.
Yeah.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that.
So
I had something to say and I
yeah,
forgot
we
now.
missed the whole key art for the billboards. I'm driving downtown earlier,
Oh.
and I'm like, we never got this moment.
Also on Ghostbusters, I like right before you enter a raise, there's stuff that happens on like the sidewalk. Like I like that stuff too. I
Oh
think
yeah,
it's
the
cool.
mood
Oh,
setting
yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
where the ghosts haven't apparated yet, like the haunted mansion with the
Yeah,
Hatbox Ghost
exactly.
ruins the vibe. There's just some like gyrations happening outside.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
But that's another one too, where like the jump scare in there is podcast with a mallet. Like we're not really, I don't know. They focused on, and they did a good job. All the actors really nailed their parts. I just, and it was cool to see some older ghosts. I feel like they recycled the librarian from the Ghostbusters One House, but she's in the movie. It's fine. She belongs there.
Slimer felt a
what
little
else?
out of place. No, did it?
That was
the
definitely
Slimer
like
scare?
a fan pop.
Yeah, I was like,
Was he supposed to be in his pile of garbage in the attic from the movie? Is that what that was?
I don't know.
Probably.
There need to be more Cheetos packages. I want more.
I was just
product
happy to
placement
see him. I did yell Slimer every time I saw him because I was just happy to see Slimer.
His
in the
wiggly
house.
arms pull up his butt. See, I wish I hadn't seen those behind the scenes photos earlier in the day.
Yeah, that's not fun. What else did we do?
Nightmare Fuel.
Oh, I like Nightmare Fuel.
That was
Even
the best
Jen
one.
liked it this year.
Yeah. Definitely.
We
the
finally
best year we've
got
had.
away from the waking up in bed motif.
Yeah. They get a little better every year, in my opinion. I like them. I think they're great shows.
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I just fire. I think the set design this year was really good, too, because they actually built some purpose-made stuff instead of just repurposing the old Fear Factor set, which is just repurposing the Wild 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 West stunt show set. So for the first time, we had a purpose-built facade of like the circus stuff, and I thought it was done really well, and it recreated a new space instead of just adding a stage on top of the dirt.
They did a little nod to where the Fuel Girls are from, too. On the right side, it says direct from London. I thought that was pretty cool.
That was cool.
I like that it's a show that you can see more than once because there's so much going on. You can just focus your attention somewhere else if you see it again because there's a lot going on in some stuff.
Right, because I'm just looking at the magic tricks every time. And then the second time, because
me too.
We
magic
stopped.
Tricks.
Yeah, because the first time we made it 15 minutes in, so we went and watched it a second time. So for that first half, I'm like, oh, I'll look at different things. But no, I still watch the magic tricks. Is that lady hanging by her hair?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, she is.
It's crazy.
Why?
How? No, how? Like, how does it just like not rip out of her skull? Like, someone explain science.
Haley grabs my hair and just pulls it right out.
All I know is...
Am I unhealthy?
The first time we saw it, before that show got stopped, Nene was next to me with Cass, and Nene realizing that it was her hair was pretty fun too. He's like, "Oh, that's her hair."
You can hear the audience gasp. That's how the first couple times the first couple of years they have like this guy that does all the contortionist stuff, and there's a little bit of like silence for the audience. Everyone's like grotesquely enamored and has to keep watching. This is different. This was a different vibe. It's like no one expected that's her hair. So it was different. It's good.
Yeah, I feel like Nightmare Fuel is just so many different mediums all coming together, and it's such a melting pot of like artistry that, like Ian was saying, you could just keep going back and focus on just dancers, or just focus on magic tricks, or just focus on aerialists, or fire. But I will say
so much fire.
Too much fire for it being that hot. I'm like, all right, let's settle down. Let's settle down now. I can't breathe.
Oh man.
I think we did all the houses.
So what do you say? What do y'all say to the 3 or 4 people on Twitter that are like, the vibes are off this year. Something's wrong this year. This is my least favorite year. What do you think? What do you think that's coming from?
Do you really want me to answer that?
Okay. You go first, Ian.
No, go ahead, Nene. You be nicer than me first.
Well, I'm like, I don't even know if we can speak upon it because we come from such a place of privilege. Like when I was looking out into the sea of switchbacks, like, yeah, that looks insufferable. And if I had to wait 90 minutes in a sea of like teenagers, yeah, maybe I would think differently of the event, but I loved the event. And I don't know.
T-word.
Yeah. Yeah. And Alicia, remember in our second Nightmare Fuel, like that group of boys in front of us? I was like, oh, that's what people are talking about.
Slightly rowdy. And I think we saw some line jumping too. And you make a good point. Yeah. I said last year on the show where we save all year long so we can do the RIP tour. Cause I used to do frequent fare, and like would go multiple nights and just do 1 or 2 houses and chill and like relax and enjoy time with friends. But now we really only get, especially now with the kid, but we really only get like 1 night to do everything. So it was either spend a couple $100 on Express and the ticket, or just bite the bullet and get the RIP tour and get some free food out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do appreciate the tour guide coming up with the best strategy to like do the most in 1 night, but also like telling us a little backstory. Josh had all the factoids, some good stuff and some insight into the event. So yeah, but walking by that one soundstage that is just Q now, which is like, I can't even fathom waiting in that line. Like it's one thing if I'm just like I have like Freak of Fear. I'm going to come like 5 or 6 times, and we only do 2 houses tonight. And I'm going to sit and chat with my friends anyway. It's not that big a deal, but it's a different way to do the event.
Yeah, I think as far as the houses go, I've seen some people down on the houses. Like I don't. This year, I had a hard time with that because there's houses I prefer less, but there isn't really a house that I hated. Like I really didn't like.
I'm not sure there was necessarily usually there's a house that I really like.
Yeah.
And I think instead of there being like one standout or 2 standouts that were the best, this year felt more evenly distributed, where even the lesser like good houses in my mind were still really well done.
Yeah.
So it almost feels like a flattening effect. Although like if I had to say, I'd say, Quiet Place and Candy Factory were my favorites for 2 completely different reasons.
Yeah, it's like I said, I could make a case for almost any house being like the one I enjoyed the most. Because if I try to break it down in my mind, I'm like, Insidious is awesome. I really like those movies, and there's a lot of scare actors, and it's great. But A Quiet Place had really cool molding, and the monsters were done well, and that hallway is scary as hell. Like I could do this all night for like every house. I've been trying to do it. I think
the museum, I guess, is the one I least liked.
Yeah, and I still enjoyed parts of it. So
I don't think there was things like even the Slaughter Cinema, which I thought had way too much jammed into it, so each scene didn't get room to breathe. Each scene was done really well, so I can't really fault it. And even just the movie posters, someone worked really hard on those movie posters. Those were all good.
I want those posters on shirts. That's what I want.
Museum deadly exhibits, I think I have a harder time remembering what I really liked about it. So even the other ones I didn't like that much, I could still say, oh, they had this and they had that and they had this. Like Monstrous had some really unique scares and the giant head.
And the giant animatronic.
Which one was eating babies?
The owl. No.
Was it Monstrous though? It was Monstrous, right?
It was Monstrous. It was the vampire. Yeah. It was the first vampire lady, I believe, is the baby eater. What'd you guys think of the scare zones this year? Here's my answer to the question. I think the vibes are off. And if anything, it's the ambiance. I think the scare zones are I don't want to say weak, but I'm going to say weak. Yeah, no, I think all of them feel like they're missing except for the swamp area. But that area is so small that you could put a bunch of stuff in there and it feels pretty decent to walk through anyway. But
also the sound being droning and low was like it's not very exciting the way that, like the Viking was a few years ago.
Yeah,
so it still looked cool though.
I like the torture area, but there's so much space in there. They could have done a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't know. That's got to be my least favorite New York zone in a long time. It seemed to have the elements. I just wasn't feeling it.
I think the most disappointing is the entryway, though, because it's just the chainsaw things, and there wasn't much in there. Usually that place is packed with like people running around in there.
I think someone said it on Twitter yesterday. It's like we need 5 scare zones and the entry area because Production Central has been truncated to just that truss. And there is no more, like, think back to 5 years ago with the arcade entry area in front of Minions. Like that was like so psychedelic with the lasers and everything and the different neon people. Like that was so iconic. And now we can't put scare zones in front of the kids area, the Minion area. So it's just a truss.
Yeah. I really, that was the most disappointing section for me because usually the chainsaw hordes are roaming around and you never know really where you're going to run into them. Even Blumhouse I thought was a little more entertaining than that area. So
I liked Blumhouse, but again, it's just one of those photo op things.
Yeah.
I still liked it. I was like, ooh, Megan.
Ooh, black phone. Oh, no werewolf though. Wolfman's gone.
No, Wolfman's gone. Wolfman has left the building.
Yeah, I think the scare zones were the only things that felt a little light in the in the scare area, or I
feel like you could make a scare zone maybe in front of the theater, although it gets a little crazy after the show dumps, but there's enough space there to kind of work it around the Jaws bathrooms because you can't put it in London, you can't put it in Simpsons, and now we can't put it in Minionland. We're running out of places for scare zones.
Yeah.
Wait, why can we not put it in Minionland?
Because 2 years in a row they haven't. So I just assume they can't. That somehow their own in-house property won't allow them. Maybe during the day they don't want scary props in their minion land.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
but
maybe
even last year they had the wagon and stuff set out front of the Hello Kitty kind of store area. They had things set
that's
up.
true. The Production Central one was more spread out. This year, it really was just the entry truss.
Yeah, well, the thing too that I always remember about the entryway in the last couple of years is the number of people that are roaming around in there, like the scare actors roaming around and characters roaming around.
You're right. Oddfellow's wagon was out there. That was
Yeah,
part
yeah.
of the entry scare zone, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
It was right
what
there when he
happened
came
this
in.
year? So that's why the vibes are off. We don't
And
have an
then-
entry scare zone.
Yeah, but the year before they had the Pumpkin Lord out there.
Yeah,
pumpkin.
and that was,
Yep.
but that was all the way up to Minion Land. That was the
Yeah,
thing. That went
Um,
all the way down the street, Illumination Avenue. That we lost that last year.
And also, the two have their symbols all over the place, and they're both 33s, we figured out by
Yeah.
looking at them.
That was kind of cool. When you pointed that out, I was like, "Oh, it is a
They're-
33."
They're both 33s with 1 3 turned backwards in both of them in just 2 different fonts.
You turn
so
the
one of
3
them-
backwards, and I'm very easily confused.
One of them looks more like runish, and one of them, I don't even know what kind of symbol it looks like. But yeah, so what is it? Surreal, and what's the other one? I'm blanking.
Sinister?
Sinister.
Is that
maybe.
right?
Something like that. But their two
Yeah.
symbols are all over the place, but they're both 33s too, which I thought was kind of fun.
Oddfellow being tied to all the scare zones last year was done really well.
It was.
Sinister and Surreal or whatever their names are, I didn't feel it.
They feel
Not at
last
all.
minutey to me too.
I don't know if
Yeah.
I'd say that. I feel
They-
like they just weren't allowed to be fully integrated.
They
I
felt
feel
a
like
little.
we're missing some stuff.
They felt kind of last minutey to me. I mean, the characters.
I don't
the-
want to say
The
budget
characters. I liked the character look,
Yes.
and I liked that they were. Though I like all the stuff they were talking and all the things. Like they were talking junk when we left. Like see you in the fog next
Which
time or stuff
character-
like that.
Was it one of them in the Hollywood scare zone, or
Yeah,
is it a
'cause-
new
yes.
character?
I think each
It was one
scare
of them.
zone belongs. It's each
The
scare
New York
zone is
one
kinda
and the
tied to
Hollywood
them.
is
Yeah.
mainly the two. And I
Yeah.
think whoever that one was killing it, whoever that one was killing it in the Hollywood when we walked by. Hollywood Scare Zone looked, I guess, as good as it always does. And it had
Mhm.
some really good characters walking around. That's like the only, New York and Hollywood are the only ones big enough to do a full scare zone.
Yeah, you're right. I
So-
did like the characters. Don't get me. I don't want people to think I actually did like them, but they felt a little last minutey to me. Like they had to come up with something.
I mean, we have the emotional attachment to icons of the past, like Jack the Clown or something. You stick him up there and everyone's excited.
I was still excited to see them when they were walking around.
And I loved Oddfellow last year. So I don't know.
Oddfellow was so good.
Maybe you go too esoteric and just do like, this is fear, like turned into a person. And
Incarnate?
Maybe it's too out there to relate to.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I can't like hone in on like a specific costume or aesthetic with them. And I feel like that's why it's really hard to connect with them. Like it's different than, what's his name? The director or, storyteller or, there's a clown and even Eddie, like there's something to sort of like, there's something physical that triggers my mind into thinking about them. But the two sisters, like there's nothing, my eye does not know where to look when I'm looking at their costumes.
Right.
I think the other
They
characters
look like black ink squid.
well, the other characters too, Nene, are kind of the other characters, Nene, seem a little more familiar too, like kind of like horror movie tropes. You know what I mean? Like these two are the closest
just
thing I
like-
can come to, like based on how they look, is kind of like Hellraiser-ish, but they don't have the black leather. But I mean, their skin and
Yeah.
stuff.
Otherworldly Hellraiser people.
Yeah,
who are made of squid ink. They're living ink blots up on a truss.
And honestly,
yeah,
that might be why people, feel like the vibes are off because we don't really have a strong icon and people don't really resonate.
Could be.
Yeah, because Oddfellow was a strong icon.
Oh, yeah,
And
that was
being
strong.
in one of the houses and being able to see on the ground and interact and walk around, and then being so well tied to all of the scare zones, not just two of them. I think, and also being tied to Jack the Clown is like an easy win.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, no, there was a lot going against these two. Plus, these two were introduced pretty late in the reveals.
That's what I'm saying. But also, yeah, but they did roam around on the streets in the lower levels. But
See, I didn't see them. I only saw them up on the truss.
oh no, they were definitely, because they have the mics connected even in the scare zones away from the entryway. So
Okay.
they were roaming around, but you didn't see them, so that says a lot because we walked right by them. So
I was too busy getting hit by a chainsaw. It's a good thing there's no blades in that thing.
yeah.
What did you guys think about the snack food options this year? I know, Alicia,
Oh,
you got a drink,
yeah.
right?
Oh, I got 2
Food.
drinks. I want to say big props to Universal at this event, and I think last year and the year before too, but this year especially, offering so many mocktail versions of the main cocktails. So you could order an alcohol-free version of a drink that they also sell with alcohol, and it's on the menus for like the first time. So one of the bars we stop at with our RIP tour is in Lombard's. And I was able to get, I forgot what it was called. It was one of the Fanta drinks. And I was able to get it without alcohol. And it was really interesting. I don't want to say good. It was interesting. But then I got the Ghostbusters drink, which is on the menu over at the Ghostbusters stand when we got the s'mores, which was a must buy. And that drink was really good. It had marshmallow topping on it and it was green like Slimer. And I drank that whole thing. It had, I forgot what it had in it. It had like melon flavor and elderberry or something. It was a weird mix, but it was so good. So I'm like really, because I don't like to drink. I can't make it through the whole night in 18 ounces if I'm drinking. So being able to get a mocktail, it's really nice. But yeah, the s'mores were a hit.
I had a Fanta Rita and my usual lacto cooler. The Fanta Rita I liked, but a lot of people didn't. But I drink a lot of margaritas, so it's become a tradition at Tom's house.
I tasted your lacto cooler. That was pretty good. It tastes like sour candy.
Yeah, it tastes like Sour Patch Kids.
Oh, I did
kinda
not
what
know
it
that's
tastes
what
like.
I thought it was a beer.
It is. It's a sour.
But I thought it was going to taste like Ecto Cooler from the 80s,
Oh,
like
no.
orange high C.
No,
so
no.
I was caught off guard and I was like, no, this is candy.
It's very very sour.
Very
it's a
sour.
it's a really sour. But yeah, Nene, it's a beer. It's just a sour.
I don't know about y'all, but I was sipping on my little vodka sodas all night.
Yes, you were.
Having a good old time.
Yeah.
Telling Cass where she belonged. That's what you needed. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, I need a little pick me up. But Lombard's was like such a great like use of space because I mean I had never really done the RIP tour, so I've been through to the restaurant many times, but I love what they did with the inside. It was great and efficient, and not a lot of people in there. I mean, until we left
It
that
made
one
a
time, and
good
there was
pit
a line.
stop a few times because it has the bathrooms inside too.
Yeah, it's a
yeah.
nice place to stop. I like doing Fallon's just to go up there and see everything, but it's fine that we didn't do it.
Well, I think if we hadn't had to go back to the show and kill another hour, we definitely would have gone into Fallon's because I want to show everyone that balcony and take pictures.
So we can overlook the peasants from the balcony.
Please don't say that.
I'm just kidding, folks. I'm just kidding.
Don't say
We
that.
do save up every year for that.
Still paying off the credit card.
Pretty much. Jeez.
But no, next year we'll have to do that. It's just so small up there. And I like that you can go back to La Bamba and get free soda and water all night.
Yeah, almost all night. I think they close it at midnight or something. It kind of closes sort of early.
Oh,
'Cause
well,
we
all
went by
night.
by 1 and it was already closed up.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Well,
and when we were in there the last time, they were kind of shutting down.
we took the last of the sodas. So
We did.
But there was still water.
I took the last Diet Coke that I could find in that thing.
I did too. And then I'm digging through and my arms burning in the ice water.
That was
and the
so
team member's
funny.
like, what are you looking for? And I was like, I'm just looking for a Coke. And she's like, I think all we got is Sprite and water. And I was like, I don't know. I found this Diet Coke. I'm going to keep searching. She's like, I don't think there's a Coke in there. And I was like, hold on. And I pulled out a Coke and I was like, I manifested this.
I think
Jen wants a Coke. I will find a Coke.
I think the taco station, they did that last year too. I kind of like that. I mean,
Yeah,
I wish
it's a
the
win.
shells were that's a little bigger, but that was a win.
We're sitting here trying to eat $450 worth of
I
free
know.
food.
The dessert,
There's no time.
the dessert empanada was good that I snagged before we even got into the park.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
that
They had
was good.
the hors d'oeuvres in the check-in area. I thought that was pretty clever.
I saw the empanadas and nobody was buying. I'm like, bye. I'm going to go grab one now. Thank you.
Yeah. And we had an amazing time. We didn't really talk about it, but like our group of 10, a hodgepodge of completely different types of people all commingling together.
So good. It's so good.
We had an amazing time, and like my feet hurt. We walked 18,000 steps, but it was worth all of the pain.
Oh, I got to 23 somehow, basically.
Oh my God. Well, you must have started earlier or something.
I think I was walking around. Well, you guys were standing in line for a while, and we were tromping through like the torture area and all that other stuff too. Like we split off while you guys stood in line.
Oh yeah, and Nene is slaying as a Slimer.
Yeah.
Well, yes. And my
Nene looked
custom
awesome.
that little. Huh.
What did you have draped around you? It kind of like represented slime, I guess.
Yeah, so I had that was
That
like
was
a
clever.
custom. It was a custom thing that a garment that someone made for me, and it has been the best thing ever. I've been able to use it for like a Nickelodeon outfit because it looks like Nickelodeon slime. I used it for Ghostbusters. I've used it for Roger Rabbit because it looks like the dip.
Oh
It's
my
the
god,
best
yeah,
investment.
that's clever.
Oh yeah.
Best investment
That's
I've
awesome.
ever made. Yeah.
The earrings too, the big puffy green earrings were
Yeah.
like that was amazing.
I
So
had
good.
my little boo hat. I bought that fuzzy
Love.
little boo hat, and I thought for sure everyone at this event was going to be wearing that same little boo hat. And the second I put it on, I realized why no one else is wearing it. It's a kid's hat. And I jammed it on my head, but it looks so good. It's so cute, and
It's
I wasn't
adorable.
even like sweating or anything. I don't know. It's fuzzy. I also have my little boo shirt.
I don't know
I
how you
had
were
a good
sweating.
night.
That was
You
gross.
just look so cute in a bucket hat. Like every time the
I
ET. Don't you have an ET one?
Yeah,
Yeah, the ET one is classic.
Oh my gosh, you look so
So
cute in a
good.
bucket hat moment.
I have 5 bucket hats now. I'm assembling a collection.
Jesus Christ.
Send Alicia all of your bucket hats.
Seriously, if you see one.
Yeah, we had a great group. It was so. This is funny. Jen's like adamant, walking around to everybody to make sure they come back again next year. She's like, "This
Yeah.
is our group. This is our group." She was so excited, and it was
It
freaking
clicked.
adorable. She's like, "This is our group. Everybody's got to come back." It was really adorable.
We didn't kill each other. That's what it was important, because it's hard for 10 people to make decisions.
Oh yeah, we did pretty good. I think everybody was pretty just laid back. Like,
Yeah, well, not me, but
no,
everyone
of course
else
not.
was. I have a stick up my butt, and I'm like, come on, people, come on. We gotta get our money's worth. Let's go.
We even some folks even got a ride in. We were just hanging out, and we still did all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If I didn't have a tummy ache from all the weird mocktails I drank, worth it.
Totally worth it.
Since none of us are going back to this year, right?
Right.
No, I don't think so.
If you could only do one more house again, which one would you do right now?
Ooh.
I would say a quiet place.
Yeah,
I have
It's
to
a
say a
toss-up
quiet
between
place.
Quiet Place and Insidious for me.
Yeah.
I think it would be a quiet place for me. I think that question really brings into focus what we think might be the technically best. Because Insidious and
can't
Quiet Place are
decide.
both very impressive in different ways
Yeah.
and very technical ways. So like they really knocked it out of the park with those. Incorporating so much from the franchises and telling multiple stories from multiple movies in such a good way.
Yeah.
So I think they might have been the stars of the event, even if we did have more fun in a candy factory,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
The Candy Factory's super fun. Super fun. I had so much fun. It was such a good night.
We survived, and now we start saving for next year. Bum, bada, bum,
Seriously.
bum, bum.
Yep.
Because we have to do this again.
No, we have to. It was too good. And our group was
even-
amazing. Everything was amazing.
It's so good. Even if you can't afford, if you can't afford it to do a private group, if you can ever scrape the money together, you should do RIP, everybody. 'Cause
I
you
think,
get
the
food, get
was it like
breaks,
$100 cheaper to do the non-private RIP, something like that?
Yeah, something like that. It wasn't that much cheaper. It was totally worth it. to do
Again,
the
when you
private.
compare it to the Express on a peak night, it's not that much more.
No.
And you got a tour guide to walk you up there. The Express, you still have to wait a third of the wait time.
Yeah, and
So-
I like the private. You get private spaces to sit in air conditioning and relax, and you also get.
Yeah.
I like, even if you know the stories of the houses, I like that you get that little refresher, like a little summary before you go into to
Because a lot of
remind you
people in
what's
our group
going on.
didn't know what the houses
Yeah.
were about.
Yeah,
I think
I-
that's great too. And the guides are always great. Like, I don't know, Josh, if I see him in the parks, I'm sure I'll be able to say hi to him, but every guide we've had, I've like, if I run into him, I say hi. I have the first 2 years ago.
It's like making a
Duncan,
new friend because they're trapped with us.
and I just ran
into.
into yeah, exactly. And I ran into our guide from last year at River Adventure on Friday, the day before our RIP.
Yeah,
I ran
she
into
was
Harley.
amazing, too.
She was awesome.
The tip, though, if you are thinking of doing the RIP tour, is if you have a specific date and time in mind or just a date in mind, you should buy early, because I think we bought within hours of them going on sale, and this night filled up very fast. So
We
like
bought fast.
it is a limited thing. We shouldn't even be trying to sell people on it, because it'll make it
No, but
harder to
it's
get
so
next
good,
year.
though.
But it'll be like there's only a finite amount of tour guides.
Yeah, don't go, guys. I was just kidding. It's not worth it. I was just kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you only get like 20 minutes to eat the free food. That's not enough time.
We had more than that.
Shush, shush, you shush.
Oh yeah, sorry. The alcohol isn't free, though. I'm sorry to tell you, kids. You have to buy your alcohol still.
Yeah, you'll pay with it one way or another anyway.
Exactly. No kidding. Freaking lacto cooler was like $14 by the time I ran.
Oh my God.
Ran up.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they charge a lot for alcohol.
This is why I like mocktails. All right, so here's to next year. I wonder what houses next year will bring.
I don't know
what
but
icons.
Yeah, what icons?
I'm ready for
Jen's
Jack to
gonna
be
be-
back. I'm ready for Jack. Like, I think it's been enough time without him. Like, bring him back, please.
Has
I'm
it?
begging you. It's been 3
I don't know.
years.
We got to see him in a box last year. Isn't that good enough?
No, please. I'm like, girl, bring Eddie back. I need to see those arms, please. That's the only thing that got me through
Priorities.
HHN30.
Priorities.
Okay, on that note.
Did you guys like it this year in general, overall?
Loved, yeah.
Yeah?
The
I had a marvelous
houses,
time.
yes.
Yeah.
The zones, hit or miss. The vibe, it's there for me.
Yeah, it was there for me.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good
Maybe
with
those
this year.
people that are missing the vibe need to go with better friends.
Ooh, period. You better let them have it, Miss Thing.
Maybe you all need to reevaluate what's wrong in your life that you're questioning why you're not enjoying things anymore.
Collect all the lesbians you know. I guarantee you it will be a wonderful time.
That's pretty much what we did.
I'm collecting these lesbians like Pokemons, baby.
That's my job. I think there's a memo out about me among all the lesbians. I'm just saying. There was more than half of our group was lesbians for the night. So
Good night, everybody.
goodbye,
Ta-ta.
goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
6 lesbians, a gay guy, a drag queen, and 2 straight men walk into a theme park. I don't know.
Well, yes.